Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Saktong-sakto tong episode na ito. Pwede itong follow-up sa isang recent episode natin, I think sometime last week. Kasama si Attorney Jake Aguilar. In that episode, we talked about anchor babies. Okay? Kung totoo ba na kapag ikaw ay may anak na Canadian citizen, madali kang maaprubahan ng PR through HNC. Okay, HNC or Humanitarian and Compassionate Grounds. Yan ang perception ng iba, no? It's a big misconception. Okay, in that episode with Attorney Jake, na-stress nga po namin doon na hindi po ganun kasimple yan, hindi po ganun kadali makakuha ng approval kung ang inyong grounds for HNC ay isa-cite ninyo yung best interest of your Canadian citizen child. Okay, clarify lang natin, pag sinabi pong anchor baby, that involves temporary resident parents, or rather, basta mga hindi po PR dito sa Canada, tapos magkakaanak sila dito. So, syempre, yung anak nila ay Canadian citizen. And then, yung iba, kapag nag-a-apply po kasi sila ng HNC, kunyari, wala talaga silang mahanap na paraan para maging PR, ang ipapakausap nila po sa IRCC at bigyan sila ng PR para maalagaan po nila yung anak nila dito sa Canada. Okay? Well, again, it is not that simple. Sabi nga po ni Attorney Jake in that episode, out of all the HNC applications, hindi lang po sa anchor babies, basta kapag HNC application, mga 3 or 5% lang daw sa mga yan talaga ang nakakakuha ng PR. Kaya sabi niya, dapat yan talaga, very, very, very last resort na. Kung walang-wala and you think you have a legitimate ground, maybe you can consider it. Diba? Pero hindi yan yung tipong, sige, kunin ko na yan, mag-file na ako dyan dahil wala na ako, no choice na yan. No, don't do that as well. Okay? O sige, puntahan natin itong ating case study because ganyan po ang na-experience ng ating kababayan dito sa ating pag-uusapan. Out of status po siya, he applied for PR through HNC grounds, at ang biggest factor na kanyang pinagalaban ay meron siyang anak na Canadian citizen. Yun nga lang, ngayon pa lang sasabihin ko na, dinala niya hanggang korte ito, federal court, hindi rin po siya pinagbigyan ni judge doon sa korte. Okay, so here is that federal court ruling from a few years ago na ito actually, but it's okay. I think it's still something we can learn from. Okay, ayan. So, puntahan natin ang kanyang storya. Ayan, citizen of the Philippines. Nung November 2009 pa siya dumating ng Canada. Naka-work permit initially. Meron siyang asawa at 2 anak sa Pilipinas. Ngayon, from 2009 until 2016, ayan, okay naman, naka-work permit siya. Until noong 2016, kumuha siya ng bagong work permit, pero na-deny. Okay? Tapos nag-apply siya ng visitor record na naging valid until 2019. Matagal-tagal rin siyang naka-visitor record. And has since remained in Canada without status. Hindi lang po clear how long na siya without status, tapos saka siya kumuha ng HNC application. Okay? So sabi dito, although not authorized to do so, nagtrabaho pa rin siya intermittently since 2016. Ito na nangyari. Sometime po in 2013 pala. Okay, at this time, meron ba siyang valid work permit nun? May nakilala daw po siya na Pilipina rin, kapwa Pinay, kapwa Pinoy dito sa Canada. Okay, in 2016, nagkaanak po sila. A daughter born in Canada and is thus a Canadian citizen. Ngayon, yung kanya pong nakilala dito sa Canada ay hindi rin po PR. Eventually, umalis po yung mag-ina at bumalik ng Pilipinas. Okay, so kasama si Canadian citizen child, umuwi po ng Pilipinas. Ang nangyari po, January 2020, bumalik ng Canada yung bata. Bata po lamang. While her mother remained in the Philippines to live with her father and his sister's family. So I assume, mukhang baka naghiwalay na po yung applicant tsaka yung original spouse niya. Okay, yung iniwan po niya sa Pilipinas when he first arrived in Canada. Tapos nung April 2020, a few months later, mula nung bumalik yung anak sa Canada, yung mommy nagbigay ng letter of consent. Letter of consent granting responsibility of the daughter to the applicant. Again, nandito po sa Canada. Okay? Pino-point out ka rin po nung IRCC officer pala, no? Isa sa mga naging batayan din niya, ba't niya ni-refuse yung application. Yung letter of consent na was not sworn and the document is not a formal custody document, no? Okay. April 2020. Guys, at this time, out of status na po itong si applicant / si daddy. He has been diagnosed with mild depression, moderate anxiety, chronic insomnia, and particular therapy has been prescribed to him. Okay? Pero sabi dito, wala naman daw indikasyon, wala naman daw sa record na pinursu niya yung mismong nirekomenda sa kanyang uri ng therapy. Okay? And then, sometime in June, okay, months later after he was diagnosed na meron siyang parang pinagdadaanan, he applied for PR from within Canada. Ayan. Raising HNC considerations. Ay, teka, hindi nyo pala nakikita, no? Ayan. He applied for PR from within Canada raising HNC considerations. In support of his application, ito ang kanyang mga ni-raise. Best interest of his daughter, number 1. Okay? Tapos, his current emotional state. And yung consequences daw of the separation from his Canadian family. And the reliance on him for financial support. Less than a year later, dininay ang kanyang application ng IRCC. Ayan, ito po yan, denied. Okay, and then now, dinala niya sa korte, no? Isa rin po sa mga ina-assess sa mga HNC applications ay yung establishment mo sa Canada. There is also, I think, a misconception that the longer you are here, the higher your chances of getting approved for HNC. Hindi rin po at all times nagwo-work yan, ha? No. Okay, nagkaroon na ako ng isang federal court decision na diniscuss po natin dito na parang sobrang tagal niya na ni-raise niya yun dito sa Canada na tagal-tagal niya na dito, established na sa, ang sinabi nung officer that assessed that application, o di ano ngayon, parang magiging bad example ka pa kapag binigyan ka namin dahil sa factor na yan. Naging bad example ka pa, baka ma-encourage pa yung iba na manatili na mas matagal dito sa Canada dahil nasa isip nila i-approve. Hindi po ganun, okay? No. Okay. So, ito na. With regards to his establishment, dito po sa ating pinag-uusapan, ni-note naman daw ni officer na, nasa Canada ng almost 11 years na itong si daddy, si applicant. Pero yun na nga, no valid temporary resident status since 2016, no work permit. Okay? And also, the officer said there is little evidence from the applicant na magde-demonstrate na kailangan talaga siya manatili dito sa Canada. That he was, ito na yung quote, he was prevented from leaving Canada or that his stay here was due to circumstances beyond his control. Sabi din daw ni officer, yung failure niya na umalis ng Canada is due to his own unwillingness, okay, to leave. Ayaw naman lang niya talaga umalis. And for the officer, this works against the applicant. In short, so-so lang yung establishment ni applicant dito. Sabi dito, the officer found that the establishment is modest. Yan, modest. Okay. With regards to the best interest of the child, eto na. Ang sinabi daw ni applicant, may negative impact sa mga bata kung sila ay lalaki nang wala ang kanilang ama, na hindi kasama ang kanilang ama. Pero ang sabi ni officer, okay, ang best interest talaga of the child is to grow up with both parents. And dahil si mommy, hindi naman daw makapunta dito sa Canada, pwede namang umuwi na lang si daddy at doon sila magsama sa Pilipinas. May sinasabi rin daw po kasi, no, na yung mommy po nung bata is constantly in the hospital. May parang sabi dito, permanent presence in the hospital. Siguro to imply na hindi maalagaan o mababantayan ng husto ni mami yung anak, ano? Pero according to the officer, there was a lack of details surrounding that issue. Yung pagiging madala sa ospital ni mami. Hindi raw klaro yun at hindi rin klaro who was taking care of the child at that time pag nasa ospital si mami. So the officer concluded that clearly someone was looking after the child while the mother could not do so at wala namang daw noticeable negative impact on the child. And then, okay, this portion, nireiterate ni officer na yung dokumento na para binibigay mo yung kustodiya ng anak mo doon sa ama, hindi nga legally binding. The officer found that such important decision to have her daughter live permanently separated from her should be accompanied by legal documents in regards to custody. Tapos, may binabanggit din si officer na walang healthcare need also itong anak. Okay? Na kailangan niyang manatili sa Canada para, kumbaga magpagamot. Wala po siya. Sabi dito, is not in need of healthcare. Tapos, in the Philippines naman, there is free and compulsory education. So, kahit sa Pilipinas siya, o okay siya, the daughter is healthy, at makakapag-aral pa. And then, there is another issue pointed out by the officer. Hindi naman daw nagpapadala pala ng pera itong si applicant doon sa kanyang mag-ina sa Pilipinas for a while now. Okay? Sabi, the officer found that the applicant was not remitting money back home at this time. He noted that yung pag-uwi pa daw nitong applicant could also favor yung iba niyang anak, yung interests ng kanyang anak, could favor his son's best interest in that he could resume his relationship with his son and his adult daughter. Ayan, pinoint out din dito, bakit daw si applicant, nung nirecommend, pinrescribe na pumunta ng therapy, parang hindi naman daw yata nagpunta. Sabi dito, the officer found little evidence that demonstrates that he went to therapy and understood na kaya daw niya dapat nga kailangan yun kasi nasistress siya at ina-anxiety siya dahil sa pagiging undocumented migrant. Okay, sabi the officer agreed separation from family can be a hardship, but noted that meron pa rin namang close family sa Philippines, itong si applicant, kabilang na doon ang kanyang mga anak. At ang dagdag din ni officer, mukhang kaya naman maghanap muli ng trabaho sa Pilipinas nitong applicant sakaling siya ay bumalik. Especially as he has demonstrated na dito nga sa Canada naging resourceful siya. Sa Pilipinas pa. And for those reasons, okay, dininay ng IRCC ang application ni applicant. Pagpunta naman sa korte, ito po ang sinabi ni judge tungkol dun sa best interest of the child. Itong paragraph na ito. Okay, with regards to the officer's analysis on the BIOC, best interest of the child, sabi, the decision is not unreasonable. Okay, sabi ni judge, in-assess naman daw ni officer yung sitwasyon ng pamilya, the partner situation, and the impact of moving to the Philippines. Pati na rin yung impact sa bata. The officer considered the children that the applicant still has in the Philippines. Okay, kabilang na yung isang minor na son, no, of BIOC age who would benefit from his father's presence. At ayun na nga, no, the fact that itong mismong Canadian citizen child would also benefit having both her parents with her in the Philippines. Sabi din ni judge, the officer also correctly noted na yung last remittance pa naman daw ni Mr. sa kanyang ex-wife and the children in the Philippines was way back in 2018 pa. Okay, so kumbaga there is no need for him to be here dahil meron siyang sinusuportahang pamilya in the Philippines. O, 2018 daw, hindi naman daw nagpapadala ng pera. So, ayun, okay? In short, the judge sided with IRCC in this case. The application for judicial review is dismissed. So, ayun guys, that is it. What do you think, no? Again, guys, hindi po yan madali kung yan ang sasabihin yung grounds para kayo ay mabigyan ng PR through HNC, no? Okay? So, I will end this episode here. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!